when you're straight. Faces come out of the rain when you stray.
Irregularity just makes me think strange, but there are several individual irregularities that you will mark on an irregularity report. Each room supervisor will have a report, and then we will also have one, and I'll have one for kids who get dequalified during breaks and all that. If a student has illness and has to leave, if there are defective materials, they open up the packet, the booklet or something, and there's no page 7. If they make an answer sheet error, like they were supposed to be taking test 2, and they bubbled in everything in the test 3 section. If something like that happens, you are to give them another answer sheet so that they can take test 3, and then after testing, a proctor or supervisor has to observe them as they correct that mistake. But you would have to document that on the list. There was some answer sheet error, we gave them another answer sheet, and then this is how we correct it. And keep both answer sheets, because ACT wants both answer sheets after that. Prohibited behaviors, the behaviors that they will be kicked out of your room for. Marking in completed sections, marking in test 1 when we're on to test 2. Working beyond the time. You say, okay, time's up. Someone's still filling in bubbles. Using any electronic device at any point in time from when you start reading the directions till when you stop reading the directions. That is the time period, the ACT testing time period, that we can't break. If you're receiving help, that would be the blinking or communicating or mouthing or anything like that. Both students involved are out. And creating a disturbance. And in this case, a disturbance is your watch going off, your cell phone ringing, you talking at all. Any sort of auditory noise outside of like involuntary coughing or something. But if a student is coughing on purpose, I don't know. There's a lot of gray area in that with noises from the body. But if you believe that they're purposefully making a disturbance, you have to DQ them. If it is a voluntary noise that they are making, they're DQ'd.
Say that I have a stubborn student that I've asked to leave because he's disqualified himself. If I hit the call button, I can't do that because then that DQs everybody.
Right.
So
we are hoping that no student decides to take it to that level, because most of them are going to be actually kind of happy that they're leaving the room because they're trapped.
I've had students in the past that they had that mindset that they're winning by sitting there.
What we're asking is that the room supervisor or proctor goes and tells them quietly, informs them that the test has been voided, and would you please come with me out to the hallway? Or you can say, could you come with me out to the hallway and then tell them it's voided? You think it's going to be a problem? Get them into the hallway. At that point, we'll have campus security, administrators, and roaming proctors who can escort them down, and then they're gone.
So what
if there is a kid who just has a huge outburst or whatever, send the proctor to get me, because that will be a group irregularity that we have to document. It may not disqualify the whole room, but it is something we have to document.
What if the exiting student does something that causes everybody to laugh at them?
If they do something that causes everyone to laugh, that would still be a group irregularity. I would not DQ every single student in the room, but I would mark on the report, this person left. As they went, they said this, the kids laughed, they left the room, and testing resumed as regular testing. It is then up to ACT to decide whether or not, oh, they laughed, these kids are out. But I would not kick them out at that point and let them finish the test. Here's kind of an example of it. You put in about void. So hopefully you have told the student, yes, your test is voided, you can check it there. If the kid got sick or something and left, you have to mark it, and you never had a chance to tell the kid, we do have a spot where we can check and say, no, we didn't get a chance to tell them their test is voided. Then you just write a clear and concise explanation of what happened. After time is called, student continued to work or to mark all ovals and was dismissed. Student marked 30 ovals. When time is called, student was informed the answer document would not be scored. That can be a quick summary. And same thing, like I said, with illness. I think this one says they got ill, and this one sent a text message. So anything you're not sure about, it's better to document, because if ACT asks a question, we have this to fall back on and say, this is what happened. If we don't have that, when they call us 6 months from now and say, oh, we've heard a report of a problem with this testing, can you tell us what happened in that room, and no one really remembers, then they're more likely to say, well, if you don't have any documentation that you did it correctly, we're sorry, but we're going to have to void these scores. Remove student from the room discreetly. Inform the student their test has been voided, and they're escorted away by whatever official you have nearby. And we're using 3 wings of the building, A200, A100, and B200. And so we will have people positioned in those areas to try to help and corral them, get them to the stairwell, and then get them on their way. Attach voided answer sheet to a regularity report. So don't throw them away. Okay, you got DQ, I can just toss it. We still want that answer sheet. Group irregularities, if there are some sort of major thing. One thing, alert me immediately, because I have to call ACT. If there's a group irregularity, I have to call them immediately. They may tell me, okay, we're pulling the plug on the whole room. They may tell me, okay, keep testing, but document it this way. But at that point in time, if we do not report a group irregularity at that time, then they are going to be voided. Some examples: tornado sirens, power outage, someone pulls the fire alarm, a major noise distraction like the kid cussing and shouting as they're going out of the room, any sort of missing materials. At any point in time we realize the test booklet is not there, or heaven forbid a kid took it with them. Please do not do that. ACT really wants to keep track of their tests, so make sure that the angry kid who left didn't also take the test. Or a missed timing. If you realize that you had a missed timing, you gotta let me know right away, because that affects the whole room and the scores of the whole room, or the whole school, if it's one of those. And there's a place on the forum also, but you won't have to worry about filling that out. If it becomes an issue, I will handle filling out that paperwork.
It's the final countdown!
We're almost done. We're wrapping up with our tests. Here's what we need to do to make sure that we get done the correct way. First thing you're going to do is collect the answer documents from the students. Go through your usual sequence. They do not have to be in a certain order when we turn them in. That's the good news. We don't have to go and alphabetize them later. But you do want to go through and make sure you get an answer document from every single seat.
And they can't just pass them up.
Yeah, you can't pass it forward. You have to pick them up. Same with test booklets. Do not just say, okay, everyone pass them in. You go C1, C2, C3, things about after the test. You'll have to make sure you have your answer sheets, both used and unused. They all have to be accounted for. Test booklets, used and unused. The roster, make sure that's completed. Test booklet count form, make sure that's completed. Seating diagram, make sure that's completed. Testing time verification form, make sure that's completed. Irregularity report, unless there are no irregularities in your room, in which case you do not need to turn one in. And then your supervisor's manual, they want you to turn that back in, and there's a place where you just write your name and like what room you were going to get in. Are there any more questions?
You said no grading, but if you're filling out the reports while we're testing, is that allowed?
Yes, it is allowed. You can fill out those reports, and you can read the supervisor's manual.
Is there one test book and one answer sheet? Or are there individual test booklets for each test and individual answer sheets?
One answer sheet, one booklet for all four. There will be extra answer sheets available in case a kid does bubble in the wrong area, and extra test booklets available in case a page is missing or something like that. But each student should only have one answer sheet and one test booklet at any time.
And what do they do with it when they go on break?
What do they do when they go
Are
on
we
break?
collecting that before they go on break?
No, they leave it at their seat. It's in the verbatim
Okay.
directions also, but they'll leave it at their seat. They'll put their answer sheet within the booklet at the point where they're testing, and then you'll kind of go around and lift it up and see for the bubbling to do that verification. Yes?
If someone brings their own calculator and wants to use it, are they include that?
You will have a sheet in your tub that says approved calculators, and so you can check it against that if they really want to use their own calculator. I encourage them to just use the one that's provided. But if we've already checked it, it's like TI 91, and they're very specific about the ones that you can't use. So if you do that, the thing about that though is when it comes to the math test, you need to verify, and even as they're bringing it in, you need to verify they don't have something in the cover, an equation or anything like that. Because if they have that in the cover of it, and the ACT supervisor comes by, or if you come by and see that the equation is there, that would be another thing to DQ. They'll receive little crappy calculators that don't have anything like that. So if they take the one that we're giving them, they're not going to be disqualified.
So it's no talking, not whatsoever. Nervous noises, if you're tapping your foot, if you're tapping anything of that, we just ask them to.
Yeah, ask them to be quiet if it's noise like that.
That's not going to disqualify them.
Unless they continue to or accelerate it, no. But
You think it's a code?
they said like coughing or sneezing. Hopefully, I mean, we have some students who I think have some nervous noises. And for SPED teachers who are in the accommodations room, there are some different rules with that. I sent you a video on that, and I know Marilyn and Sharon are kind of in charge of those rooms. But they're in the accommodations, just kind of a big picture. They get 5 hours, that's the most common accommodation. They get 5 hours to test. They could spend all 5 hours, or 4.5 hours on the math test, and spend the other 30 minutes filling out the other 3 tests. And because of that, the proctoring is a little bit different. We will not have these designated, you have to be done with this at this time. But that's in a different supervisor manual that you'll receive. I don't know if the 3 room supervisors have received that. I'll check on that if you have not. I will get that to you tomorrow so you can review that. And then be sure to watch the video if you're in one of those rooms, because a lot of the rooms still, or rules still apply. Cell phones go to DQ, et cetera, but some of the procedures are different.
And can they eat during break?
Yes, during break you can eat.
How many breaks are there?
One break after the second. proctor or come leave the proctor and send the room supervisor to come and ask me at the time. I am happy to go over something with you if you're not clear at that point in time. Everywhere. I don't anticipate sitting down. I'm just going to be circulating. Maybe they'll even be a walkie-talkie.
A couple of really positives about this. This is a recordable score. Okay, so this is a free ACT for all of those juniors. Okay, so we want you to kind of talk that up. And the other thing is, I have a feeling that some kids are going to self-select not to come on Tuesday, and that's okay. This is a pilot. We're not going to be chasing anybody around to have them make up the test. So some of the concerns that we have, we just hope they won't materialize. But just a show of hands, how many of you took the ACT? Right. Okay. You just kind of think back, however long ago it was. Remember that, and many of you, how many of you proctored the ACT already? Yes. Okay. So that we're trying to replicate the basic ACT experience as much as you can in a whole school setting. Okay, and that's across the district. So and I remember I took it at my school at East High School when I was taking it. I knew there were a lot of kids that I knew taking it, but I came there to take the test. And our hope is that our students are coming to take the test. The kids that really don't want to do this are not going to come. Okay, now we're not going to advertise that necessarily, right? But in the morning before testing, the cafeteria is going to serve a hot breakfast, so that's going to be available. During the break, we're organizing and going to have stations during the approximate break times. We're organizing so that we're going to have like a granola bar, cereal bar, and a juice available for kids. Okay. We just need to emphasize with our students, and that's what the message that I sent out today, and it's on our webpage, and tweeted it or whatever. We're asking, don't even bring your cell phone or electronic device. Okay. We know that's going to be a temptation, but again, for us as well. I know, say in a faculty meeting, for example, you might have a computer with you and try and check email, multitask, that kind of stuff. But in this testing environment, we just can't be doing that. Okay? We just can't be doing that because we don't want to. Of all things, we don't want us to be the reason that a group of kids who are trying to get a reportable score. And again, we're emphasizing as they're doing this, 4 colleges. They can send these out to 4 colleges, whether they know they're going to UNL or wherever else. Send it to 4 colleges because that's going to drum up interest in it. Okay. We're also talking to maybe have something up by the end of the week to do some incentivizing of this. Like I think some Omaha places are doing like a T-shirt for 21, and we might do something like that as well. So we just want to make this a positive deal. So some food during break, and then afterwards lunch will be served. It is a Tuesday, so with respect to the normal, it's a normal teacher work day. You can go right into PLC work if you want, but we just let your supervisor know if that's what you're doing. Okay, as far as the admin team. Any questions on that stuff? Okay. Just kind of keep watching the communication with respect to schedule.